All right, everybody. Next up, we're going to be talking about Beyond Exit Liquidity, Community in Post-Memecoin Crypto, presented by Jay from the Qs. Please give a round of applause for our next speakers.
Yes, everybody, put those phones down and put your hands together for our beautiful panel. Woo! Very nice, very nice. Now, I have some really bad news to share with you, but first we're going to introduce you to these wonderful people up here. First we have Lucy. Lucy, you want to give us a quick 15 minutes on what you're working on? 15 seconds.
He knows I'm a talker. So I'm Lucy. I've been in the Polkadot space for about 3 years, and I've recently been a big part of the launch of the Polkadot Ambassador Fellowship, and I'm Global Program Director of that initiative.
Building a fellowship, an ambassador fellowship. Okay, thank you very much. Berto.
Hello, I'm Berto. I'm doing product at Polkadot. One of the things I'm working on is a new beginner-friendly crypto app for beginners, I guess. Easy onboarding to crypto, Polkadot, Web3, this kind of thing.
Okay, building products for beginners, very nice. And then we have Cameron Thacker, co-founder of Mythical Games.
Yeah, hi, Cameron, co-founder of Mythical Games. And I kind of will describe us as maybe the most successful Web3 gaming platform or ecosystem you haven't heard of. So we've been around since 2018. I'll keep it short, but we started with Blanco's Block Party, had over 1 million players. Our current, top-tier game is NFL Rivals, and it's on the App Store. Players can buy and sell NFTs in-app so they can trade with each other, making us the only Web3 game in the App Store where players can trade on-chain. And you put all that together, we've had over 6.5 million players in that game.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
They were telling me about Mythical backstage. Somebody was saying that recently it was the second highest blockchain in the industry by volume, and it was the highest gaming blockchain in the industry by transactions. Is that true?
Yeah. So, the blockchain that powers this is the Mythos blockchain, and it's consistently within, I would say, top 3, top 5 blockchains for NFT transactions.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
It's very bullish. But
Yeah.
we only have 17 minutes left here, and I got to get to the bad news. This panel is about community, and I'm bearish on community. I am bearish. I have seen all sorts of exploitations and evil shit go down with communities. Myself, I've lost thousands of dollars trusting people who I thought were my friends, but it turns out they just dumped on me, and I never heard from them again. So they put me on this panel. I have no idea why. Does this resonate with you guys? Do you ever see any bad behavior with communities? Have you ever seen anything like that?
I don't know where I'm here either. I think communities, no, I don't really. No, I know what you mean. There are a number of bad actors in this space, but there are a hell of a lot of good ones as well. And I think what we've seen in this, in the bear market that preceded this bull run, after COVID, I think with that, the combination of the two made people remember that actually doing everything online maybe isn't the answer, and a kind of hybrid approach is important, so an in-person and virtual community, but really taking that global stride that this is meant to be for, so actually allowing a community across all continents to come together. And I think the stronger a community you build, the easier it is to weed out the bad eggs, let's say.
Okay.
That stole all your money.
It's slightly compelling, but I won't be so easily swayed. Cameron, when we talk about gaming,
so
the token flips, the grinding.
Right. I think certain communities are going to breed certain behaviors. So the Memecoin community famously had some pretty bad things happen recently, and it's because their primary focus is value extraction or profit. They're profit seeking, right? I think the unique value prop for gaming is that gamers mainly play games to have fun, to relax, and you know, they may trade items, right? They may make some profit, but it's not their primary motivation. And so because of that, especially if, you know, like what we do, we try and focus on the positive aspects, minimize, you know, speculation. You get benefits because the players, they want to be there long term if they're having fun. And so your incentives are aligned. And in that case, you know, I don't know. I mean, there's some games when they focus on the extraction and the, you know, flipping JPEGs or whatever.
Yeah.
And they're short-lived. It's painful. People have a bad experience. But in our case, you know, we've had pretty good success with our model.
That's interesting.
So,
How many gamers do you have playing mythical games?
say how many players?
Yeah.
Yeah, so there's been over 6.5 million for NFL Rivals, which is our biggest. Blanco's over 1 million.
NFL, like the football?
Yeah, NFL, National Football League. So
Whoa.
we have a game with them that we've made. It's on its second, or just finished its second season, corresponding to the second NFL season that we've been alive. And it's pretty awesome. I mean, it's a big brand. They're trusting us with, you know, their IP and all that comes with that. I mean, they don't want to be involved in scams, right? So all of that means that we're good actors. We do our best to, you know, promote a healthy community and like a community with longevity. Yeah.
That's interesting. You just said something nice. So you said aligning around. What was that?
Yeah, aligning incentives.
Aligning
right?
around incentives. The incentive here is to have fun playing games.
Exactly. So like, you know, if you're launching a meme coin, I don't know if the incentives align. Everyone wants to make money.
Yeah.
So it's a race to who can do it first.
Good point.
In this case, people are just playing games. You know, they might want a better asset or something because there's utility attached to these game assets. They're not just a collectible, though some of them are. You know, there's more. So.
Awesome. Lucy, you were talking there a little bit about bringing people together from different points of the world. But my question for you is, what are you bringing them together to do?
Okay.
If it's not...
Yeah, so the Polkadot Ambassador Fellowship is an initiative that sits alongside the Technical Fellowship led by Gavin Wood. So it's we're trying to build, or will be building, the largest on-chain decentralized community in the world with a focus on scalability and resilience. So what we're really looking to do is create bonds and like lasting bonds focused around the Web3 space, with Polkadot leading that, but it's bigger than just Polkadot. It's Polkadot and all the other chains around it. You know, they say the rising tide raises all boats, and that's what we're really looking to do with the fellowship. And so we also have a very strong rewards and recognition program, just like incentives that Cameron was talking about. So we've uncoupled ranks and salaries. So we give people a title so that they have a platform of legitimacy on which they can go out into the outside world and talk about Polkadot in whatever way they feel comfortable, whether they're marketing, whether they're BD, whether they're a dev. And what we incentivize them to do, obviously the token price goes up. If we do well, that's an incentive that I don't think many people's hobbies and passions can do. I don't know of any other hobbies and passions that
Pokemon cards.
What was that?
Pokemon cards go up in value if you get the good ones, right?
Yeah,
apart from Pokemon.
I mean, I think to kind of like to dovetail on what Lucy's saying, it's also like we see many social DAOs in crypto, and it's kind of like taking this social DAO concept and actually bringing some like IRL function to it as well, and like actually having meetups and seeing people face to face, and which I think is super important and super needed.
We're also, for the first time, giving agents who aren't attached to projects an ability to work within the ecosystem.
Yeah.
So that's a really new thing that's never been done before. I myself found myself, after leaving Parity, which is the engine room of Polkadot, being a proper employee, to wanting to work with Polkadot, but kind of just wanting to attach all of the different things that we have going on, because there's not many cross communications. And so I'm one of the first people that's actually been sort of hired by the ecosystem, by the people through OpenGov. So I think it's going to really empower us to do more by keeping hold of, good, skilled people. Not that I'm saying that I am, but that's really going to heighten us.
Yeah, no, that's interesting, because if I understand Polkadot correctly, it's not like there's like this central foundation that's making all the choices. It's actually a project that belongs to the shareholders, the people who hold DOT, right? And I think what you were saying there is that there are some people that belong to organizations that are working on Polkadot, but then there are some people who are just solo agents. And what you're creating is kind of a platform for people to align on the growth of the whole network. Is that right?
Yeah, exactly. Like Polkadot is, undeniably the largest decentralized community in the world with a $200 million treasury, including stable coins, that is
Whoa.
owned by the community and spent by the community. It's powered thousands of individuals, projects, communities.
Yeah.
So, there is no central force, but if you're not attached to a project, that makes it, sort of harder. But then the big problem is this asymmetry of information.
Yeah.
So people like myself who want to be, a little bit attached to everything and just want to be Polkadot now have an opportunity to help bridge those gaps.
Yeah, it's nothing like getting together in person and aligning there. Okay, so you mentioned OpenGov there. Berto, this is something I heard you talk about backstage. You're saying like 1,500 public referendums or something like that so far. What is this about?
The public referenda or the whole thing?
The whole thing, this OpenGov thing, like what is this?
Yeah, sure. I mean, I think, like as Lucy was saying, Polkadot is like the world's biggest DAO in terms of like token holder voting. And the kind of interesting thing I think that Polkadot has in this kind of governance space, which I'm not sure if I've seen anywhere else, is actual on-chain execution of things. So for example, if you raise a proposal to pay yourself funds or pay someone funds and it gets voted on, it gets executed straight away. And there's no intermediary, there's no middleman, there's no third party that like goes and signs a transaction and sends it to you, which I think is pretty awesome. And also interesting for things like runtime upgrades, like the DAO did a huge token swap with like Mythical Games. And so like the DAO itself co-invested in a project, which is like permissionlessly, which is also kind of cool.
Wait, you said a few things there. What's runtime upgrades?
Oh, so like, say for example, if you have a blockchain and you want to make an upgrade to it, one of the things that Polkadot can do is runtime upgrades via this like decentralized governance. So there's no forks, there's no.
It's like
yeah.
Everybody votes together to upgrade it, like an app on your phone or something like that.
Yeah, I guess so. The community is being the app store,
Yeah.
essentially, right? Yeah.
And what's this about this token swap? What were you saying?
Yeah. The DAO did a token swap with the Mythos DAO. So that's the blockchain and DAO that governs the Mythos blockchain that we use, and it's done totally decentralized way, which is super awesome. I'll add on to this. Mythos is actually upgrading, doing a big chain upgrade this coming week, and inspired by Polkadot, we're going to have on-chain governance as well. So it's cool. I mean, it's another way to promote community, to give people, interest, access, power, to some extent, voice. And I don't know a lot of other chains that actually have that, right? On-chain governance, the things that happen get enacted immediately. There's no middlemen. Yeah.
Yeah, that's so cool. It's like, as I understand it, Polkadot has governance, and then all of the rollups can have governance as well.
That's right.
Just something for every community to do, right, to drive the chain forward. Berto, you're saying it's like, also you're saying it's permissionless.
Yeah, I mean, so like the interesting thing is like anyone that holds DOT can make a proposal for anything.
Yeah.
Which sounds a bit scary, but I mean, there are some limits and there are some controls, right? But like, say for example, you could propose, assuming you could
Ambassador
code.
fellowship.
You could say, hey, I think we need a something, and you could propose it. And if the community is aligned, or you can get alignment, then it gets voted on, and you can create a new sub DAO or create a sub pool of funds, like a bounty, to do specific things. It's kind of up to you, right?
Could I propose to pay myself $5,000 for hosting this panel?
I could raise a tip
Yeah.
to propose you $5,000 for hosting the panel. Why not?
I'm gonna vote against that.
You're going to vote against that?
No. I'm just kidding. It should be 10,000.
It should be 10?
Yeah,
Okay, nice.
yeah.
But if everybody votes in favor, then those funds are coming and nobody can stop it, right?
Correct.
It's not like some foundation is saying like, the community thought this is good, so maybe we'll do it. It happens.
For better or
cool.
worse.
Very nice. So Lucy, you're just starting this fellowship project pretty recently, right?
Yeah. We went through OpenGov back in November, December. I pulled together a manifesto, a nice short 19-page read, which brought together all of the community voices, because we've had ambassador programs for a while, so we wanted to look at what had gone right, what had gone wrong, what can we learn, and pull that all together. And then we put that to OpenGov through a root referendum, which actually changes the code, changes the palette. And it was voted through with, I think, 86.5%. And then we asked for a lump sum of money to kickstart the program over the next few months. And we're halfway through that funding at the moment, so we're a bit of a building site. So we've seeded 161 ambassadors, and we're building a framework of onboarding, rewards and recognition, obviously building the palette to make this the first ever on-chain collective, which is the huge thing that we're doing. And we will also have our own governance system. So anything that happens within the Ambassador Fellowship will be voted on by each ambassador. So if somebody wants to be promoted, they'll put themselves forward, it'll be voted on. We have our own sub-treasury.
Yeah.
So we're our own little we're our own little DAO, our own mini Polkadot.
That's like sub-DAOs all the way down, eh?
Yeah, exactly.
Very cool. Hey, speaking of onboarding, on the product side, traditional retail investors or crypto people, how are you reaching out to them by creating great products?
Yeah, I mean, I think in the Polkadot space, the app that we're building is a really good first step. It's like, we don't show the seed phase. There's like cloud backups. There's, basically no transaction signing. It's you can imagine it's like Venmo, PayPal, but actually built for crypto. And so the aim is that it should be something that is quite simple, like I could give to my mum or maybe my dad, and they could use it to, have some crypto, stake it, this kind of thing.
Yeah, I love this idea of hiding the chain. I got a chance to do a really quick interview with Nader from Eigen Labs earlier this week, and I was like, what's the thing that everybody's missing? And he was like, I don't think people are seeing that we're starting to be adopted by people who are using this technology. They don't even know it, right? I mean, like, screw all these logos and stuff. Like, there's actually people building stuff and, not even know they're using it.
Yeah, I mean, I think the thing that most people have realized is like, we need things for people to do. We need applications. We need stuff. Like,
right.
We can't just keep building infrastructure forever.
Or telling stories about software that never develops. It's happened a few times, right?
I'm sure.
Yeah. Cameron, you're 6.5 million players.
Yeah.
Do they know they're using the Mythos chain? Do they know they're using Polkadot?
A very small fraction, right? I mean, we try. One of the reasons why we have such a nice community is we try and focus on things that matter to real people, right? People that maybe don't care about blockchain. They like some of the features, some of the abilities you get with blockchain, but they don't really care. It's like, I don't know, is your database SQL or is it something else? Like, who cares? And so, yeah, it's a similar process where we want it to be as similar to a Web 2 experience as we can get, because we want to minimize friction, we want to maximize adoption, and then once they're in that ecosystem, they can, take their own keys if they want to, or level up, something like that.
Beautiful. Yeah, it's like the total addressable market for Web3. Everybody who's going to be using it, they're not going to be yapping about it on Twitter.
That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think for me, I would say there's two things that I would like to get out of the fellowship and for the Web3 movement in general. There's bringing people on board that are there to enjoy a game or to use an app or to pay with things. They don't need to know how it works. But then when you have governance, things that I guess when we say we all want to change the world, that's really something that could. And that's the thing I want my mum or grandma to understand. And I think that that bit is really important for us to be shouting from the rooftops and explaining to people.
Beautiful. Ladies and gentlemen, let's give it up for Lucy, Berto, and Cameron.
Thank you.
Thanks, Jay.